What up, everyone? Welcome to this newest edition of Tox Tells. I hope you guys are pumped, because today I'm going to be telling you the story of when my girlfriend and I spent the night in a haunted house. And I mean like a legit haunted house, not like what you hear about from your friends who are like, yo, let's go to this abandoned house. It's probably got people in there doing satanic rituals, and it's probably had multiple deaths inside of it, so it's obviously haunted, and there will be spirits and ghouls and also probably the occult. Not like that, no. This is actually a legit haunted location in our home state of New York, which I'm not going to say the name of the place or give its approximate location for obvious reasons, but just know that it is said to be one of the most haunted locations in New York State, and many a ghost hunting YouTube channels and even television shows have been to this location. So basically, the deal with this house, this haunted location, is that it is not abandoned. It is maintained on a regular basis, sometimes lived in by the owner, and also rented out as an Airbnb to anyone who is interested and has the money for it, can afford it, because it's not cheap to stay there. It's not really expensive either, given the credibility of the location and how sought after it is. It's a pretty good deal when you consider all of those factors. Alright, so basically, my girlfriend, whose name is Brittany, and that is her actual name, we're not going to be using any pseudonyms or aliases for her on this story or any story involving her, because she has given me her direct permission to use her name, and because of that, I will do so. So anyways, Brittany is huge into ghost hunting and paranormal stuff in general. She's been ghost hunting for the past 3 or 4 years heavily now, if I'm not mistaken, and she happens to live only about a 17 to 18 minute drive from this haunted location that the story takes place in. So about a little over a year ago, something super sad and tragic happened, and I hate to include it in the story, but it provides some much-needed context. Brittany's dog, Brittany's pupper, who she loved more than probably life itself, and I also loved immensely, Cabo Babo, passed away. He was 12 years old, and he started having issues in his back legs, an issue that a lot of dogs in his breed end up suffering towards the end of their lives. He was a pit bull mix, and it was a horrifying and depressing experience. So he had to be put down, and both me and her were pretty much in shambles after that. So she had planned a ghost hunt at this haunted location around that time before Cabo's condition got really bad, and she did not foresee it happening, obviously. So she had already had the spot rented out for the night, and at that point she did not want to do a whole ghost hunt thing, so she opted to keep the place for the night for just her and I to go and spend the night together and just chill. Because it's a pretty nice house, and it's cozy, and it's got good vibes despite the history and the paranormal activity that is said to happen inside the house. So her and I go there for the night to just chill and watch movies and just, have a healing night, a self-care night, if you will. And it is in the dead of winter, and it is horribly cold out, breathtakingly cold out, just bitter cold, and maybe about a half a foot of snow on the ground. The driving wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. But anyway, we get there, and the house doesn't have great heat because it was built in, I guess, the 1700s or 1800s. I don't remember which one. Doesn't matter, because we're not talking specific details here. Point is, the house is very old. The heating is very not efficient, inefficient, if you will. And the warmest room in the house that we were told to utilize was the living room. So we were in the living room, and we had a blanket in the doorway because there's no door from the living room to the kitchen, just a doorway. So we had a blanket hung up to keep the hot air inside the living room with us. And we had a space heater. And they have like a TV with a Roku there. So we're just watching whatever cheesy horror movies to just enjoy ourselves and have a nice chill night. And quick sidebar for context, because it's important for the next part. Because of this place being so well known in the area for being a haunted location, people have in the past tried to break in. And because of this, nowadays, currently, they have steel bars on all the windows. The front door is a steel-plated door, very heavy, and they have cameras all around the outside of the property and inside the house as well. And another quick bit of context when it comes to me personally and paranormal experiences, I have never really experienced much paranormal things in my life. Small things here and there, but nothing really to write home about, nothing too of note. And I've gone on quite a few of these ghost hunts with Brittany and still have not really experienced too much that you could really say were paranormal experiences. I don't know if it's because I'm not in tune to it. I do believe in the stuff, but like I said, just not much that I can really pinpoint as definite things that have happened to me that I've experienced. So knowing all this now, it's going to just make the next part that much more ridiculous. So we're sitting there watching a movie. So it had to be about 12:30, maybe even 1 a.m. And nothing had happened all night, really. Heard some creaks and some groans in the house, but regular house settling type sounds. Nothing to really freak out about or notice even. And out of nowhere, we just hear a dong, dong, dong. Like loud as fuck on the front door. Not someone knocking, but like somebody banging on the front steel-plated door. And I jump up immediately because my first reaction is that a ghost? And I look at Brittany and she can see my face and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck was that? Was that like a paranormal event? Was that a ghost? Was that a specter? Some sort of apparition? Some sort of spirit making that massively loud noise? And she's like, no, it's definitely not a ghost. I've never experienced anything that intense in all of my years of ghost hunting and doing this paranormal stuff. So then the possibilities of what it could be have now narrowed down to pretty much just one, and that there is a person at the front door of this house in the middle of nowhere in the dead of winter at 1 a.m. banging on the front door. So Brittany quickly gets her phone out and she texts the housekeeper and the owner of the house, both to see if they have anybody that they were expecting to be coming by that night, which we both knew the chances that they were expecting somebody to be stopping by at 1 a.m. were pretty much slim to none. That was just the first thing that came to mind of something that we should do in this type of situation. And only one of them were awake, the owner of the house, and yeah, he responded, no, not a fucking chance that anybody should be there at 1 a.m. knocking on the door. So we had all the lights in the house, other than the lights in the living room where we were hanging out, off. And the kitchen is right next to the living room, and that's where the front door is. And right next to the kitchen is a front bedroom, and the window in the front bedroom overlooks the driveway. So I quietly and slowly creep through the kitchen past the front door into the front bedroom where the window is that you can overlook the driveway. And I look out the window, and sure as shit, there is a sedan running, parked in the driveway, lights on, nobody in it. Person who's driving it clearly is still at the front door waiting to have someone answer it. And even though I am freaked the fuck out, I have not completely lost my cool, and logical thinking is still within my grasp. So I decide to not answer the door, because what kind of intentions does somebody have knocking on a door of a house in the middle of nowhere at 1 a.m. in the middle of winter? Let me tell you, somebody with bad intentions. Definitely not good intentions, that's for sure. So we just decided, screw it. They'll leave eventually. We'll just hang out until they do. And within like 5 minutes, they did. They left. And we just continued the night as if nothing happened. And it was a great night. It was awesome. We just got stoned and watched movies and fell asleep eventually with no other issues. And nothing ever even came of it. Nothing. To this day, nobody has given us an explanation or even a possible explanation. Nobody knows who it was, what they wanted, or why they would be there at that time of night. But it was a pretty freaky time, pretty freaky experience, something that definitely, startled me, made me think twice about going to haunted locations and paranormal locations. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole story. There's no real moral. Just make sure you're careful. I was like, maybe I should bring my gun next time. I don't know. Either way, stay strapped. Be careful out there, guys. And that's it. If you like the story, hit the like button. If you want to just show me some support, hit the like button. Comment down below what kind of story you want to hear next, or maybe some stories that you might have that you would like me to tell on this channel. And subscribe. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for listening. Peace.